movements in the American epoch. And another famous family who Ben's father, Ken Free, is tied to from his New York Mets days. But anyway, and I brought that book up. You might be asking why I brought that up to answer this question. I'm not stalling for time, but the list that you produced, is a lot of people on this list that transcend music,
right?
And kind of played the score to social movements and to the zeitgeist of our world. And in that frame, in that John Meacham spirit, Tim McGraw spirit, I'd probably pick Bob Marley. And in addition, and did you ask me why?
Yeah.
I thought you never asked. I say the reason why is because of really what I just stated. I can cut this part short because I kind of already set it up, meaning that what would intrigue me about a Bob Marley concert would be just being in the spirit of a musician that was of course making awesome music that we would jam to, i.e. we're jamming for decades to come. But his music and the impetus of it having a role in Jamaican politics with President Manley and the violence that was there, being a former British island colony, or his influence on the Rastafarians there in Jamaica and all over the world, and how this becomes this force for social change, where if you're talking about brother, your rights, your soul rights, that's Bob Marley. So the music, is hard to tell if the music is as popular as the message. So put me smack dab in the middle of a Bob Marley concert, and wow, I can't believe I'm there. So I'm picking Bob.
Yeah. See, McKee always do something that's so deep that you can't follow behind. I know I should have went first. So mine is. But
you got the left.
I'm not gonna lay that one down the rest of the show. I see that now, but mine is not. but mine is real simple. Mine is real simple. It's probably gonna be a little. I guess you could say predictable, because of who it is and why. But it's Prince. So here's why. So there's one intimate story. My aunt / sister Veronica McDonald took me to my very first movie. And the very first movie I ever saw was Purple Rain in the theater. So it started there. But here's the main reason why. That's about 5% of the reason why Prince would be number one on my list. Here's the other 95.
Apollonia jumping in that lake. That was my reason. I'm sorry.
Well, shout out to Lake Minnetonka.
It might have something to do, but no. So in 2012, so I was working, and I was working in South Carolina, but all year long. So I'm gonna start this story from the beginning, because all year long, a couple of my buddies, Jake and George, talked about, man, we got to get down to New Orleans, and it was Essence Festival. George had went to Essence Festival the year prior. So he's like, yeah, man, we all got to go down there. So I'm like, yeah, cool, we should do that. And he was like, well, if you need to get your stuff together now, because their rooms are going to run out soon. So I'm like, oh, man. So I went on and I blindly, now I mean this, because it was on the 4th of July weekend that year, I blindly booked a room. I'm going to get to the room I booked in a minute. But the job that I was working at the time, I did a lot of traveling. And in all that traveling, I amassed a whole heap of hotel points. So I'm going to get to why that's important in a minute. So a whole heap of hotel points. So
now hold on. You didn't end up staying at Chilligan's Island, did you?
No. So let me tell you what happened that year. So
Yeah.
I booked a room maybe like in either December or January, way before July. So I get ready to go down there. I got a good amount of extra money I can go down there and play with, and then these boys tell me, "Oh man, we ain't even booked no room. We ain't going." So I'm like, "Man, you know I done booked the room and everything. So I'm glad I ain't buy no plane ticket." So I go online, and I had to cancel the room because, again, if you don't cancel the room, it takes all your points. The room that I had booked, and I want y'all to understand what I'm telling y'all when I say this. This is the room that I had booked blindly and didn't know it because I was a Hilton Diamond member. That's how much I traveled. I was a Hilton Diamond member, which means even when the rooms are booked, you still get one. They hold one for you.
Yeah, I used to work at the Hilton Garden Inn. That is true, ladies and gentlemen.
So let me tell you what I would have been in had I went down there. Well, let me start by saying this. That was the year that Prince performed at Essence Festival. And if anybody else doesn't know the story, Prince died the year after he performed at Essence Festival. So his last public performance was Essence that year. Not only that, so I missed my opportunity to see Prince perform in my adulthood. But not only that, so to add the cherry on top, when I went in to cancel the room, I had booked for 4 days and 3 nights a presidential suite at the Waldorf Astoria in the French Quarter. It was all that book. That hotel was $585 a night, and it was fully comped by the points that I had through the Hilton. So not only did I miss Prince, but I missed being able to go to New Orleans where they got some of the best Southern food in the world and stay in a hotel and spend no money for 4 days and 3 nights. Man, I almost cried when I canceled that daggone.
You probably cried like Prince. I heard a little.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like. I got pulled over that weekend, and the police officer said, "I'll let you go if you just sing you would not exceed the speed limit." And I was like, "I would not exceed the speed limit."
Come on, David.
Look, I had to throw that. I had to throw that one in there.
Say it like Prince. I would not exceed the speed limit. Boy, I tell you. See, I was about to be concerned for a minute when he was going with that, but I thought he got pulled and then to add insult to injury. See there?
But you know what though? What it was, this is the reason why I didn't book it, because I was still thinking about going just to go. But that was Devin, my youngest son, he had just been born. And Robbie was like, "Dad, can we just do fireworks this year?" And I was like, "Cool." And you got to remember, I was working South Carolina at the time, so I was down there with all the good fireworks. Yeah. So for people that don't know, the fireworks you get from South Carolina, you can't get in North Carolina. It's like basically, and if you've ever seen Harlem Nights, South Carolina is Arsenio Hall and everybody else who was shooting them guns in the alley at Quick. North Carolina is the dude that kept doing the little gun. The little pop gun. That's the difference between
and so you can buy them fireworks all year long. Yeah. Oh. So you can get the good stuff cheaper before you start buying early in the year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. But I feel you, and I had that experience, and it is a good show because Prince usually does about 3 or 4 encores at his shows too. I was blessed to see him in Greensboro with the wifey.
Shout out to Shelby Johnson.
Yeah, shout out. And Prince said, "All right, Greensboro." He said, "Y'all know how many hits I got?" And he proceeded to do about 3 encores. We were rocking all night. Shout out to Prince.
Prince
that was
a legend.
That was one I could mark off the bucket list.
But it put some things in perspective for me because again, you can't just let. You got to realize that time waits for no man. That was an opportunity for me to do something. It was a weird time because I'll be honest with you, like if we had something to do with the kids, I'd have been like, baby, pack your bags, we leaving now. Like there would have been nothing to get in my way of getting to that, especially because my wife took me for my birthday one year to see Dave Chappelle down in Charlotte. So I was able to take my Marriott points and stay at the what's the Marriott's version of the Waldorf Astoria? I forgot the name of it, but it's the Ritz-Carlton. Now, the Ritz-Carlton in Charlotte is, again, I didn't pay for it. I think that room was like $550 a night. And then I was just like, that don't sound right. And I went and looked. The one in Charlotte is the most expensive Ritz-Carlton to stay in the country. Because you can get a room at the Ritz-Carlton for about $200 in downtown Manhattan. And there's a lot more to see in downtown Manhattan than there is to see in downtown Charlotte. And if you don't believe me, just drive to Manhattan and find out. Or as a matter of fact, or just Google it. Like you really don't even have to Google it. Take that little yellow man and slide him in the middle of the street and just pretend to walk down the middle of the street in downtown Manhattan. You'll see it's a little different than it is in downtown Charlotte if you don't believe. But but that room was immaculate, man. They had just put that hotel up and they take you around and so they shuttle you around the city in BMW. It was nice. I ain't gonna lie. So with
Shout
that experience,
Charlotte, yeah, don't be hating on the Queen City.
I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying that it's downtown Charlotte's not downtown Manhattan. Like that's not a shot. That's a fact.
Hey man, don't do that. You don't do that.
Seriously, like what is? You know what? We go. Let's take another break, man. We gonna take another break. We'll come right back, and then we're gonna talk about mental health because we need it right now. Names are not important. Mac and free. Y'all know what it is.
Been singing for Jesus a long time.
Talk Wally, Mighty Def and S died on the guest like Kanye, yo, the dope man of hip hop. Now let's rock.
What's up, everybody? Back again. Names are not important with Mac and Free and McKee. So we promised we were gonna have a conversation y'all don't want to have normally, and that's about mental health and the significance of it in our society. So y'all can understand where I'm coming from. This ain't a black thing. This ain't a white thing. This isn't a male or female thing. This is a people thing that we need to address. And to me, it's the basis for to remedy a lot of negative elements in our society. Personally, where we need to start acknowledging that there are issues and then addressing them accordingly. And we have to, the first thing I feel like we have to acknowledge, though, y'all, is mental health. Because I think we have a tendency to laugh at that. And we don't understand that some people deal with things so differently and see things so differently that they just can't help themselves from making fun where they shouldn't make fun. And that's, I mean, we watched Kanye break down on stage recently we watched Will Smith almost explode. Like he looked like his blood pressure